is the road to 2019, and for this entire period of a year, we're going to take a look at all the twists and turns on the road that heads up to that big general elections and try and take stock of all the milestones that might help us to understand and figure out who is actually going to be winning in that big election in 2019. Now, we spent a lot of time discussing Samajwadi Party and Bahujan Samaj Party and Phulpur and Gorakhpur and what all of that means. But we already know what the next big milestone is going to be, and today we are going to spend some time talking about it. And that milestone, of course, is the 12th of May when Karnataka goes to the polls. Now, it's an assembly election, obviously really important because Karnataka is that one state in South India where the BJP actually has quite a presence. And the BJP will be hoping to dislodge the Congress party from its position in the assembly. And that's also important because Karnataka, perhaps the only big state, well, other than Punjab, which the Congress party actually holds right now. So there's a lot at stake right now. Let's just quickly, before I introduce all the guests, I'll just quickly take you through what's been happening in Karnataka in the last couple of elections. Well, 2013, which was the assembly election, here's what happened. The Congress party got 36.6% of the vote, give or take, 122 seats. BJP just 40 seats, JDS 40 seats. Both the BJP and the JDS got approximately 20% of the vote. This was 2013 in the assembly election. Just go forward one year to the Lok Sabha elections in 2014, and the BJP got 17 seats out there with 43% of the vote. The Congress party actually got slightly higher vote share than it had in the assembly, but it ended up with only 9 seats. This was in 2014. Now, what is going to happen on the 12th of May, and what are the signals we can derive from that for the Lok Sabha elections next year? That's what we're going to be asking. And we have a great panel joining us. Vivek Subbareddy joining us right here, lawyer, BJP spokesperson from Karnataka. We also have Sachidanand Murthy, resident editor of The Week, joining us right here in the studio. Joining us from Bangalore, Aishwarya Mahadev, who's the spokesperson of the Congress party, and Danish Ali, who's the National General Secretary of the JDS. Harish Bijur is joining us, brand expert and also political analyst, and Shukata Srinivas Raju, co-founder and editorial director of the State South World. So we've got experts, politicians, everyone joining us here to tell us what they think is happening. Opinion polls, by the way, so far have thrown a slightly mixed picture, so we're not quite sure. The very latest poll says the Congress is ahead, but different opinion polls are pointing at different things. Other than that, the election campaign so far has been, well, noteworthy for a few strange things that have been happening at Mr. Amit Shah's rallies, and he must be feeling he's somewhat jinxed right now. First, he, by mistake, slip of the tongue, refers to Yediyurappa as being the most corrupt chief minister when he meant Siddaramaiah. And then, just today, he actually said the right thing about Narendra Modi and how people should vote for the BJP because it will make Karnataka the #1 state. But as it so happens, the translator got it a little wrong and actually translated it as saying Narendra Modi is going to do nothing for the poor and the downtrodden. Just listen to this.
नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार बनाई है, यहाँ हमारे येदियुरप्पा जी की भाजपा की सरकार बना दीजिए। नरेंद्र मोदी जी और येदियुरप्पा जी मिलकर कर्नाटक को देश का #1 राज्य बनाएंगे। ನರೇಂದ್ರ ಮೋದಿ ಅವರು ಬಡವರು ದೀನದಲಿತರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಮೇಲೆ ಸರಿ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ನರೇಂದ್ರ ಮೋದಿ ಅವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪನವರನ್ನು ಆರಿಸಿ ಕಳಿಸಿ ಅವರನ್ನ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅವರಿಬ್ಬರ ಒಂದು ಸಂಯೋಗದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವರಿಬ್ಬರ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕವನ್ನ #1 ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನಾಗಿ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Okay, so those are bloopers. We're going to be assembling a blooper package, I'm sure, by the end of this entire elections. But let me turn to all of you. I mean, bloopers aside, actually, let's just ask about the bloopers. Poor Mr. Amit Shah, he must be feeling he's somewhat jinxed on this particular trip.
I think when they extensively tour and they go to deep and remote areas of Karnataka in this torrid sun, I may say, these little bit of disconnections in the wordings will occur. But the spirit of what they say, the substantive part of what they are saying is that indeed here is a government of Siddaramaiah which has to be removed, and we have to usher in the Modi era, the transformative era of Modi in Karnataka also. That message has gone to the voters, and that is apparently what is resonating with the people of Karnataka today.
Okay, I mean, that's still to be proven one way or the other. We'll know the answer to that on the 15th of May. Aishwarya Mahadev, let me turn to you. Now, a lot at stake in this election for the Congress party because, I mean, look at that map of India. The Congress party virtually doesn't exist anymore in any state with the exception of, Mizoram and Puducherry, Punjab and Karnataka. This is the only big state that the Congress party has. So, is the Congress party going to be throwing everything it has to try and make sure that it wins this election?
Very honestly, I think we're on our way to a comfortable win. And if you look at it, the Congress has seen a resurgence. What Modi's 2014 era has given us years of a government riddled with a lot of corruption, scams, and basically a tyrannical rule at the end of it. And when Amit Shah comes to Karnataka and says what he has to, it's not the spirit of it, as the BJP spokesperson would say, they're pure Freudian slips. It's not the first time that it has happened. It has repeatedly happened, and honestly, I think it's very telling. But the Congress is very comfortable. Each one of the surveys have shown us 100 upwards, and we're very sure of forming the government not on any divisive agenda that the BJP has employed because they have nothing else to go on, but rather purely an agenda of having stood for development in these past 5 years.
Okay, she's saying they're all Freudian slips that are happening.
One is, sir, I mean, let us be mature enough, Vikram. It is easily understandable that this is a slip of the tongue. So far as divisive agenda is concerned, because I wanted to rejoin there, what more divisive can it be? What more divisive can it be when you want to divide Hinduism, an ageless religion? Do you have any sense behind what, do you know what you're doing? Okay. Is there any prudence? One. Second thing is, Aishwarya forgets one thing. She forgets the history. Since the past 40 years in Karnataka, Mr. Sachidanand Murthy is there, renowned journalist. Since 1980s in Karnataka, almost 40 years till now, every election in Karnataka has had an anti-incumbency wave. No government has been repeated. I don't see any reason why Siddaramaiah should be repeated. And the anti-Siddaramaiah tsunami is now gaining a huge, giant proportions, and it will wash out Siddaramaiah.
I would come to some of the issues and get everyone else inside, including on the entire question of the Lingayats.
That is Congress survey.
So
survey said it is Congress survey. What else?
Aishwarya, the point of anti-incumbency.
You want to tamper even surveys.
Okay, yes, even if it's biased,
you manipulated governance.
The highest numbers.
You manipulated governance. Now you want to tamper surveys.
You're tampering EVMs, you're leaking papers, and you're accusing us of
tampering
your
doubt.
Surveys. Yes,
that is your doubt.
Sir. Please
because you're washed out from India. You're blaming EVMs.
Okay,
we don't need to tamper. We don't need to divide. We don't need to
blaming
cry.
EVMs.
We have a
we'll be very happy.
agenda, and we're going to
because
go on that.
Okay, but
as long as you blame EVMs.
Vivek,
we
are with the voters of India.
Vivek. Let's just try and hear each other. And
the voters of India are going to reject you in 2018.
That is your belief, Aishwarya.
Okay.
With a leader like Rahul Gandhi, are you confident?
Let's wait and watch.
Do you know you'll be washed out?
Okay, Aishwarya, can I just ask you the question of anti-incumbency?
Absolutely confident.
No way he can be matched.
Okay, one sec, Vivek, hang on. Let's just all hear ourselves one at a time. Aishwarya, I just wanted to ask you on anti-incumbency. The point that was being made is Karnataka has often had a strong anti-incumbency vote. So the anti-incumbency in Karnataka, in Lok Sabha elections next year, you could say, okay, it's going to be anti-incumbency against the central government. For the moment, it will be a referendum on the Siddaramaiah government.
Absolutely. No, but more than anything else, if you look at all the surveys, as much as he would like to say they are suspect, you do realize each of them have given us numbers higher than before. But more than anything else, anti-incumbency also factors in a lot of things, the sort of administration that has been provided, but the sort of mammoth development that has been undertaken under the Congress regime is going to ensure that we safely see pass more than the half mark. I don't believe anti-incumbency is going to hit us as hard. Also because all the factors have been extremely favorable when the central government is basically crumbling. The South and Karnataka is the last bastion you have of anything that the constitution in India originally stood for. We are probably the last guardians of what exactly Ambedkar and the founding fathers stood for. And which is why we are going to smooth sail. Vivek is going to give you rhetoric and he's going to accuse Siddaramaiah, but tell me any chief minister and the BJP who's done as much.
Your last bastion, you've been erased in India.
Okay.
This is your last bastion.
Okay. Hang on. We'll get the answers.
We're coming back.
We won in 19 states, Aishwarya. I hope you can understand.
Okay, now
Kindly see the
What
facts.
happened to Gorakhpur? You're
Kindly see
slowly
the facts.
seeing that people do
One-
not
one-
favor you
one
anymore.
by-election
Your
and your
own
19
CM
losses.
lost his home seat.
19
What
Wrong-
happened,
wrong
no,
channel,
what
wrong
happened
channel.
in the by-elections?
19
You
losses
lost
of
your
yours.
strong
fine,
What
vote.
wrong
development
channel.
are you
So where are
talking
you
of?
going?
Is there any
They don't want to hear a
Slow
debate. Listen,
resurgence.
people want to hear a
What
debate.
is
They want to
that?
hear shouting. They may want to hear shouting, but they're not going to get it out here. Can I just get the third party in now? Danish Ali, National General Secretary of the JDS. You've decided to tie up with the Bahujan Samaj Party, which is an interesting step to take. Your votes had fallen, as I was showing, between 2013 and 2014. Your votes did fall. Some people are wondering whether this is some sort of a positioning that will you eventually get back into an alliance with, or think of an alliance with the BJP? Is there some closeness out there in line for the 2019? Are you planning to play more kingmaker or spoiler as opposed to actually thinking you have a shot for power? What's your game plan?
Vikram, if you analyze the last three elections, you will see that the JDS has always a difference of number of votes between during the Lok Sabha elections and the assembly elections. So it's not that we lose our vote share in 2014. It was earlier also. We got 1% more vote than BJP in the existing outgoing assembly. We got 40 seats, JDS got 40 seats, BJP got 40 seats. But our percentage of vote share was slightly higher than BJP. As far as the alliance is concerned, we are thankful, and we should be credited that the JDS was the party which brought Bahujan Samaj Party into the alliance politics. Bahujan Samaj Party headed by Sushri Mayawati ji. The BSP headed by Mayawati ji first ever had any alliance is with JDS in Karnataka. Now the alliance talks are in Uttar Pradesh and there. See, we have full confidence. We don't believe these opinion polls. I do remember even in 2004 when opinion polls were shown, BJP and Congress others 10 to 12, and when the results came out, JDS was 58, Congress was 65. So these two national parties will exploit their because of their resources and all these things about the opinion polls. We have full confidence that the people of Karnataka had enough of both BJP and Congress. People remember Yediyurappa's and Reddy brothers' loot of Karnataka. People are watching what Siddaramaiah government is doing here, and people are watching 4 years of the union government, Modi government.
During
so
all
both
this
these
time-
parties want to polarize the election.
Okay, now can I
The election, and people of
During
Karnataka
all
will
this
bless
time,
JDS and
when
BSP
people
alliance,
were watching,
definitely.
Janata Dal
Yes.
became a small regional party. It was first of all regional in Karnataka. Now it is reduced to or limited to
Okay,
a
can
region
I-
within a region.
Can I get the others to weigh in on this now? Let me get some slightly more neutral voices. Let me start with you, Sachidanand, before I go to the others. Your analysis of where it stands right now, what would be your overall take?
My this thing is, if we look at the last 5 elections in Karnataka, I think this is the strongest of the incumbent chief ministers who has faced an election. Because if you look at the last assembly, that
So you're
term
saying
saw
though there's often been anti-incumbency,
Yeah.
you think he is stronger?
he's stronger. He is even stronger than what S.M. Krishna was in 2004, when they go to the elections. Because we have had assembly terms where there were 3 chief ministers, 2 chief ministers. Last time BJP had
So
3
your
So
view is that
Siddaramaiah
anti-incumbency will
is-
be less than it we've
Yes,
seen in
yes,
recent
yes.
years.
So he's a much more formidable chap to defeat than BJP last time, because it had 3 chief ministers in 5 years, and it had been split into 3 parts. If you remember, in 2013 there was Yediyurappa's Karnataka Janata Party and Sriramulu's party also.
Harish, let me throw that to you. Harish, your sense of anti-incumbency, its absence, is it a popular government, is it not a popular government? What's your take right now?
Okay, let me start firstly with on a lighter note, because the political, the moment you put 3 contending political parties, there's going to be a fair bit of fire and fury, which a little bit of which we have seen just now. Firstly, I'd like to say, bloopers. I think we should start with the bloopers because that sets the tone of this election. And, Mr. Yediyurappa's name not being remembered or pronounced, or Siddaramaiah's name not being remembered or pronounced, or Vishweshwaraya's name not being pronounced properly by someone, I think we should leave all that aside, because in Karnataka, most of our Kannada names are quite complex names. They aren't simple names. Mr. Yediyurappa, when he was a chief minister, had a time when people in the press were calling him, Yedi, and that had to be stopped. And it had to be converted to BSY. The same thing happened with Mr. Siddaramaiah. He was being called Sid, and that wasn't liked. So having said that, let's look at anti-incumbency. I think anti-incumbency is always a serious issue for any chief minister, and particularly in Karnataka. And I think, anti-incumbency does exist. But Karnataka has a unique dal of our own, and that dal is the one which is sitting on the fence. We have the Dalit vote, and there's a vote bank which depends on the Dalit vote. That's a D. The Ahinda vote, Dalit vote together, and of course the Lingayat vote, the L of the Dal. If you really look at this, these are votes which are going to matter and count for the Congress party in the state, just as it's going to matter to every other political party looking for those votes. These are votes. Where they will swing, we don't know. And I don't think any opinion poll can actually find that out.
All right. So, and looking at those particular factors, I guess the JDS will be hoping that the alliance with the BSP drive Dalit votes there, and the Congress will be hoping that the Lingayat gambit that they have tried will drive that vote there, and we'll come to that in a couple of minutes. But Sugata, now that you're up, we heard Sachidanand saying that there may not be that. This is one of the strongest chief ministers from an anti-incumbency point of view that we've had in the last 3 or 4 elections. Would you agree with that assertion, or is he not quite that popular?
The BJP has not been able to build a narrative, a poll narrative for itself in Karnataka. The Congress has built a very strong narrative for itself. They have a story to tell. The BJP has been struggling with that. And that is something very unusual for the BJP. Usually they come up with a lot of stories, they try to convince their opponents, and they have a narrative to go to the electorate. But here they seem to be struggling, and that's one of the reasons why you see Amit Shah faltering at every step. It's not just the Freudian slips that we are talking about, it's also, he goes to a farmer's meet and he messes it up. People sort of throw back questions at him. He went to a Dalit meet this afternoon in Mysore, and he was countered and asked questions about Anant Kumar Hegde, who has been making outrageous statements about the constitution, about the minorities and all that, and he could not answer those questions. So they seem to be struggling to build a narrative for themselves. And you know that elections are all about building a very strong narrative, being able to tell a story for yourself. That doesn't seem to be happening with the BJP this time.
All right, Shagata, thanks so much for joining us. We've been struggling to hear you, but thanks a lot for that. Vivek, I just want to throw it to you. Questions about whether there's success in building a narrative, and secondly, in a sense, has some of the, you may say that what the Congress party is trying to do with the Lingayat issue and the separate religious issues trying to divide Hinduism, it was actually a demand that Mr. Yediyurappa himself had raised way back in 2013, and ironically at that time the UPA didn't agree with it. Now they've come up with it. Is it potentially a gamble that could hurt you? Because the Lingayats have been a strong support base of the BJPs. If they decide, even a certain number of them decide to go across, it potentially is a problem for you.
Well, it is a similar problem as the flip-flop that you are suggesting, because UPA took a stand that it should not be allowed, and the BJP said, Mr. Yediyurappa, when he said that, he was in the KJP then, and basically the KJP had such an ideology. Even now the BJP is saying that the true decision must come from the All India Veerashaiva Mahasabha, who are the true stakeholders, and not persons who are non-Lingayats to decide on the issue of Lingayats. But that's the larger issue. The real question here is, Vikram, how is it politically being worked out at the ground level? When we look at it in the ground level, even the Lingayats today are asking, the person who will become chief minister today is Mr. Yediyurappa, who is a Lingayat, and therefore their backing is with Mr. Yediyurappa. Second issue that they are asking also is that if you really want to give us benefits of minority status, then why do you divide us? That is the question.
We'll see how that's
Lingayats
answered.
are asking.
Okay.
So far as
let me just get an answer from Ash.
So far as what Sugata said, that BJP has not built a narrative, I think he is wrong, and he is not following the politics of Karnataka very closely. In Karnataka, the big issues, the big bang issues, 3,500 farmer deaths, agrarian distress which causes some problem in Gujarat also.
Okay.
And issues pertaining to the slipping of rule of law, the complete collapse of rule of law, as in Nalpad's case, and how the government compromised rule of law to appease.
I'm sure you'll say all of
These
this.
issues are
I'm
big
sure,
bang issues.
All right, I'm
over
sure
which
you'll be
people are
raising
fed
all
up.
of this on the assembly tail. Aishwarya, the specific question of the step that has been taken for Lingayats, and there seems to be a certain amount of, emotional pitch, a separate Karnataka flag, language wars, all of this. Is there a certain amount of, appealing to particular segments, almost chauvinism that is coming up in the Congress campaign?
No, absolutely not. Let's be very clear. On the Lingayat issue, what happened was these people have been demanding it for decades. Yediyurappa could not do it. He submitted something that the UPA denied because it was not a governmental representation. It came from only the Veerashaiva Mahasabha. Vivek is trying to confuse you by saying we're dividing, we're just giving a voice to what they want. The next thing is there is no chauvinism whatsoever. India is a federal system. Yes, we come under a union. But as Baba Sahib had envisioned it, we are so diverse, we are so different and from such various plethoras that you can never try to unite us under one single banner. The South is proud, South India in each one of its states, we're as strong as we are, individually strong as we are as part of the union. We believe when we have a Kannada flag, when we believe we already have a song, and we're now working towards a greater idea of the South also representing as much. We do not believe in this imposition from the North, and this is something that Siddaramaiah has given a voice to, and the other southern states are resonating, because at the end of it, we are all equals. The center does not rule us. We are co-partners, and which is something that you have to realize. We are not going to kowtow to these leaders that come in and try to impose what they want on us. We are equally proud of our roots, which are far older in millennia than what you see in a lot of places in the North, and which is the voice that we're giving to the people. At the end of it, Karnataka is a land of proud people, and we're going to voice it out no matter what.
All right,
We've been asking for a flag from the time of the KDA. It finally came through.
All right. Aishwarya, I heard you loud and clear. Danish, any quick last thoughts from you?
No, we believe that people of Karnataka had both BJP and Congress enough, and I have a sincere advice for both the parties that they should not polarize the election on account of the religious ground. And see, when the Congress party leader says that JDS may be a kingmaker, or we can go with BJP, it's all absurd. And particularly when Mr. Rahul Gandhi has taken over as a Congress president, he should not be reading the slips given by the local Congress leaders. Okay. Attacking JDS that it's a B team of BJP, because we are for the larger opposition unity.
You have allied with the Congress, you have broken with us, you have allied with the BJP. No. So don't play holier than thou, Danish Ali, because you are political opportunists without our pride self on being a kingmaker.
You're in alliance with them
No.
Okay, look.
Why? Can I have one question?
Vivek, Danish and Aishwarya, we'll hear a lot more of this on the campaign trail. So it's obviously going to be a heated election. It's going to be hot as well. So now, one more word from each of you. The Lingayat issue, do you think it's going to have an impact?
I think it's a big issue for the community itself. For the first time, the community after 1989 election, it had consistently voted for the BJP. Today, it is questioning itself. Okay. Do we get a Lingayat chief minister, or do we get a minority status? Okay. What do we want?
Shagata, which way do you think they will go on that? A Lingayat chief minister or minority status? What do you think the Lingayat community would rather prefer?
I mean, my gut feeling is that they'll go with the minority status, because the BJP has not been able to formulate a response to this whole thing.
Okay. Harish, last word from you on the show.
The month after month that
Amit, if I look at Karnataka
Amit Shah has been going to,
Karnataka is the only jewel in the crown which is totally empty for the Congress party. So I think they will go all out and do 20 different things. If you really look at it, this is going to be an election where Kannada pride and Kannada sentiment is going to be showcased beautifully. And I see that happening. The last time this was done, it was done by NTR in Andhra Pradesh when he spoke about the 6 crore Telugus and their pride. And I think that's coming back. There's going to be a counter narrative. I'm sure the BJP will have a counter narrative to this, and the next 44 days are going to be exciting on this count.
Unfortunately, the highest number of Kannadigas have migrated from Kannada schools, and this is the lip sympathy that Siddaramaiah has given for Karnataka.
Okay,
and this is the Kannada pride that he is giving.
You're going to get a chance to say all
We
of
have
this.
made
By
Kannada
breaking
mandatory in
Karnataka,
all
by breaking
schools.
Kannada.
What is the Kannada pride?
The most weakest
We have Kannada in all
system of
schools.
Kannada put
We
in
are not
place
breaking
by
Kannada.
So, ladies and
Siddaramaiah.
gentlemen,
We're giving a voice
he
to
is
it.
sitting
Your
in over
leaders
that.
come to
That is his
Karnataka and
governance.
speak in Hindi.
Ladies and
and
gentlemen,
Kannada.
if I can try and get myself
What
heard
we
over
are.
all of this, now you can see why it's going to be a really interesting elections. Don't say we didn't tell you this. 44 days to go for Karnataka. You can expect a lot of heat, a lot of dust. It is an election with a lot at stake. And you can figure it out, this being a state which is the last major state that the Congress holds, and the BJP's one bastion in the south. This will point a lot of directions, a lot of answers may be derived from here for what's going to happen in 2019. And we'll track every step of this particular election in Karnataka as well. But that's it for now. We'll be back next week on the road to 2019.